Hey everybody. I say to everybody on the motherland, and hey, what's up to everybody here in the United States, continental, or if you're on the islands, what have you. Uh, I just wanted to say a little bit more kind of about why it was so easy for them to use, these media platforms to kind of get in and distort your spirit and your mind, right? So the first thing you got to understand is that a TV and radio was invented within the last 100 years or so, right? Just over or just under, I'd say like 100 years, right? But before that, they had radio, right? But radio was taking the place of storytellers. Okay, now what stories do is they inform because they engage your mind and your spirit and your emotions, right? And essentially, that black screen that the TV or that a phone mimics, that's the blankness of your mind. That's the noon. It's the waters of noon, the chaotic frothing and bubbling from which all things emanate and spring forth, right? So when but the times long past from what people are experiencing now physically, right? You had elders who had the people who had lived the longest and lived through the most, right? They would have a fire going, right? A fire, it's the symbolic of, that divine spark and that desire to rise, right, at a higher vibration, okay? Thusly engaging that third eye, if you want to call it, the Heru, the Christ. It is engaging that aspect of you, right? The generative principle, right? That creator aspect. So once this has been engaged, motion begins. They will generally walk around the fire, or there will be dancers to help interpret the story, right? Give it life and meaning and vibrance, right? And as they're talking, you would be able to see these things and feel these things and smell these things that they're describing, in the way the dancers would move, in the way that the fire would flicker, in the way that the wind would incorporate itself into twisting the fires around, right? Because this wind is resonating with the wind coming out of this elder's mouth. See, these are things that you got to understand, and all of this combining and correlating while they're sitting around this fire. Okay, again, round the generative principle, and then sometimes it would be a spiral coming outward from this fire. Like say, this is the fire. If you're looking from a bird's eye view, they would be sitting in a pattern that would spiral out like this, right? So as the storyteller is telling the story, she would be walking in like this, or he would be walking in like this, and they would have their staff. This is where they get the idea for a talking stick, okay? Because the person who had that was the person who had the authority to speak, because this authority is coming from the word, right? Meaning the initial vibration, right? This is where this creative principle is coming from, and it's filtering through their vessel so that they can touch and come into your vessels and help you to enter and understand, the outer and inner experiences of this world. Like that's the experiences and experiences, I guess is a better way to put that. The things that lift your spirit and the things that your spirit can interact with, right? These stories are a way of building that. They are internally forming that. That's what information is. Information is not a thing. Information is a verb. It's an adverb. It describes a thing that has been done or is being done. You're being informed. Something is informing you. Or you have, read information. You have been exposed to information. Information is currently taking place, right? Just like terraformation. What is that? It's the shaping of the physical, right? So information is the formation of the internal, right? And this is what the storytellers were doing. So the youth would grow up understanding and knowing these higher spiritual, natural concepts and understandings and truths, right? They were connected to the Ma'atian understanding of what the universe is. You see, actually turning it into what they call letters now was not necessary. You see, this the Medoneter it can function as letters to a person who can't understand what the pictures and symbolic meaning is of these images. It can function as letters, but in doing that, what happens? You lose a lot of the meaning. You can't translate it all like that. You have to learn to read this, right? The right way, because the only way you can read something that was meant to be expressed in a non three-dimensional way, or as close to non three-dimensional as you can get, which is storytelling, is to make it pictures so that they can be what? Pictures that stand for 1,000 words. See what I mean? See, so when the elders were telling these stories, these words they're saying were painting very vivid pictures and creating very vivid environments and worlds. They were world building, right? They were the best and first world builders, right? That's why movies and games are trash now, because these people can't world build for crap. You know, they're good at graphics and they're good at politics and identity wars. They're good at that. They're good at putting man against woman and woman against man. They're good at that. But they're not actually good at world building, like building a world that is believable and desirable, right, for people. Like it doesn't nourish. It only takes. It only depletes, right? But the way the ancients did it, in a natural setting, everybody having, good drink or good food being passed around. You got the shamans, you got the medicine men, you got the wise men and the elders of the tribe sitting over here backing her up. And she's, she's got the motion going, and she's got the big, nice, long voices coming out. It's, hitting everybody. And, you got animals out here. You got moonlight, fire going, dancers. That engages the spirit. And the spirit will remember these things for you. You didn't necessarily have to actively remember them all day long, every day, because the spirit remembered, like it was put into you through spirit. See, these put information into you through your eyeballs, right? Through your logical centers, right? And if you don't develop that, at least you're never going to have a chance at uniting this, because this is just sitting over here getting atrophied. That is to say, it's dying off. It's getting calcified and hardened because you're not using it, right? That's why it's important to read. It's important to imagine. It's important to explore any creative aspect you have about yourself, whether that be crafting, especially if it's crafting, or painting, or building, sculpting, you know what I mean? Making up nonsense songs, making up languages. I do that all the time. Okay? Like these are the things that draw in the God mind and creative aspects, the creative energies, the divine forces that you can use and take back from listening to these garbage celebrity stories, to which you're actually being double sucked off your energy, right? Because you have to go to work and earn these dollars, right? You use your energy that way. So they take some of your energy. And then you spend those dollars with these people and sit there and watch this. So you're getting energy sucked as you're sitting there watching it. It's just taking your life energy from you. After you watch something that was garbage, you feel tired, like you actually been in like a fight or you ran or something. Right? That's you that's tired. That's not your body. That's you. Right? That's how this all works, because they're tapping into what was supposed to feed you and they're draining it. Their stories are not food. Their stories are poison. Okay? So it's important that you get out in nature, start to experience your own stories. If you have to, get some of your friends together, right? And y'all tell stories to each other. Make them up in your head. Try to be as creative as you can. And it might not work the first time. It might be derivative of something that you've read or seen. That's all right. Keep trying. Because it's a muscle. You got to work it out. And once you work it out, it gets stronger. And once it gets to a certain point, it won't be able to be defeated. You'll start to recognize the inferiority of the ability of other people to create stories for you. And you'll start to be able to create your own stories. And that's essentially the goal, is to empower you to be able to utilize these ancient understandings to create your own stories. Because sad to say, but they damaged a lot of our elders, and they're not here to tell the stories that we need them to tell and that we needed them to tell. But, and I'm not really an elder, I don't look like one anyway. So people don't really listen to me unless they come to me. So, but that's going to change too. Like, I like to talk and I like to explain things, especially old things that I know people don't get. So, but that's one of the things that we need to get back to. We need to get back to understanding how to work the Heru's journey in our favor, instead of watching them use their hero's journey, which is just a mockery of ours. Okay. See, there's a literary format that they use called the hero's journey, which is what they use to make these stories, right? If you look at this circle right here, and you picture this bottom as midnight and this top as the just call it noon, right? Mid-morning, right? This is 12 o'clock night, 12 o'clock noon, right? Notice the name, noon, right? That's what this water is about, it's blackness, right? Anyway, this side over here is going to be Kefirah, rebirth. And then this side over here is actually death. It's where you're going back, right, to the noon, right? So this is the story of oh, there we go, of coming in here, right? This is you start here at home in the noon, right? And you are coalesced into being. You come here into the physical world and you learn things. You come down here and you exist in the physical world a little longer and you learn some other things, good, bad, you kind of experience a lot. You take that information here where you finally actually leave. Your body expires, because here you were inspired. You were put into your body. You came into being. Here you are leaving physical being, right? You are exiting here. And you're going back to Ra. You're going back to Noon. You're going back to Amun, right? Amunet. You're leaving Amunet and going back to Amun, right? That's the Heru's journey. And through this, you gain light. You gain energy and you become more than self, right? And that's what you're supposed to be doing. But see, they use this natural format and they hijacked it and made a lesser than format to make all of these movies and plays and TV shows. They use that same format to engage your naturally spiritual mind, right? And kind of entrance it, right? That's what world building is. And they use that in tandem with the images that they paint in your head to essentially trap you in that world, whichever world it is that you happen to be tuning into, whether it be music videos or action movies or romance novels or fairy tales. You're trapped there as long as you're entertaining those thoughts. Entertaining. This means to contain something that is within, right? To hold you. So as long as you are allowing that to happen, that's what's happening. But, so to really wrap it all up, basically, I guess, be aware that they're using, celebrity star power, right, to engage your Aten Sun, right, which is a natural function of how you're supposed to perceive the world. They're using your actual Heru's journey to fuel and power their fake hero's journey archetypes, and they just keep recycling it over and over and over, and you keep watching it. You keep giving them the bucks, right? Because you're living vicariously when you should be living actually. You see what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go, and I'll be back with a little bit more. Either tonight I'll record another one, or maybe in the morning if I can write it up, get it all together, and make it a little more structured, But make sure you guys go holler at my man Tatenda over at Committee Hebrew Ethics, and this is Ekongulu Zero. I will see you guys later.